All right, our next video deals with simplifying radicals. What you're trying to do here is reduce the radical much like you would reduce a fraction, but the rules are different. We're looking to break this into two square roots, two radicals. Radical is another name for square root. Two square roots that multiply to give you 12. Now there's lots of options, like 6 times 2, 4 times 3, and 12 times 1, but only one of them is really the one that you care about, because only one of them has a number that you can actually square root. So that's how you know you should simplify. So I'm going to ignore this. I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to look at the square root of 4 and the square root of 3 and ask myself, can I square root any of these? Yes, you can. Square root of 4 is 2. Can you square root 3? In your head you can't. So the square root of 3 is the square root of 3. And this is the answer. This is the simplified radical form of the square root of 12. Now the problems get harder. You start introducing variables, like number 15. So you do it the same way though. The square root of 80, break it up, square root of a squared, and the square root of b cubed. Now I'm going to do that again. I'm going to break the square root of 80 into something that might be useful. And I'm going to break the square root of b cubed into the square root of b squared, and the square root of b, because b times b squared is b cubed. So that'll work. What should we choose for 80? Most people won't see 16 times 5, because the square root of 16 is 4. That's the best way to do it. But most people don't see that. Most of you will probably go with 4 times 20. Alright, so we'll just do that. Square root of 4 is 2. Then, the square root of 20 can be broken down further into 4 times 5. Square root of 4 times square root of 5. And the square root of 4 is 2 again. Don't forget this 2. Square root of 5 cannot be done without a calculator. The square root of a squared is a. The square root of b squared is b. And the square root of b is the square root of b. You can't do anything with it. So clean all this up. You have 2 times 2. That's 4. You have times a. You have times a b. And you have stuff that still needs to be square rooted. So you can put all that underneath a single square root. Like this. And that is the answer. Now, when multiplying radicals, you multiply, I guess, here's how I would do it. I'd probably write it like this. 4 times root 5. And this, you can reorder that. 4 times 3 times root 5 times root 15, because you learned that multiplication can be done in any order you want, right? 3 times 2 times 5. That's the same thing, right? So let's do the same thing up here. Put it in any order you want. Putting all the numbers up front. So 4 times 3 is 12, and root 5 times root 15 is root 75. Now, root 75 can be broken down into the square root of 25 and the square root of the square root of 3. Because 3 times 25 is 75. Why did I do that? Because the square root of 25 is 5 times 12 times root 3. So that's 60 root 3. That's the final answer. Go back and look at go through this again if you need to. Okay, now we have number 17. Break it apart. Square root of 75. Square root of x to the 7th. And square root of y to the 5th. And now break those down into things you can actually square root. Like this is square root of 25 and 3. Square root of 3. This I would break into x to the 6th and x. And the next one would be y to the 4th and y. That's getting a little bit above what we did in the class, and you'll learn more about this in algebra 2. But more importantly, we learned that x cubed times x cubed is really just x times x times x times x times x times x, which is x to the sixth. So the square root of x to the sixth is x cubed. Square root of y to the fourth will be y squared. You will not be able to square root the x, so you'll have to say square root of x. You'll be unable to do this. Square root of 3 you'll be unable to do. And the square root of 25 is 5. Okay? So now we clean all that up and get a final answer. So 5 times x cubed, and all this other stuff was you're unable to square root, so we'll put it all underneath the radical. And that's the final answer. That's it for this video.